you can turn your video off. And there it is. You got your recording in progress, and we can do that. And Pam, if you would like to introduce yourself as well, please do.
I'm Pam Duran. First of all, thank you very much for agreeing to the recording, because we did get a bunch of emails from people who could not come tonight, who could use it. And it's also could be a nice resource for the library as well, when their staff doesn't have enough time to maybe train someone to show them how to use the different products. So thank you very much for graciously allowing us to record that. It's you're going to benefit the library just by doing that. So thank you. I'm Pam Duran. I'm an education technology specialist down at P&W BOCES, if you haven't heard my skill before. I'm an ITSE certified educator, which means I am certified to do this, to teach online and help you learn things digitally. I got a quick
And 1 second, can everybody hear Pam all right? Because it's still a little low. I can hear you, but as long as everybody can hear you, we're good. Everybody's good with that? Say no if not.
Could be a little clearer.
Okay, I'll talk a little bit louder. I will project. Is that better?
Yes, that is better.
Okay.
Don't strain yourself, Pam.
Once I start getting excited about the nerd stuff, I naturally start talking louder anyway.
Okay.
So, and we're also welcome. It's great to have Tammy here, the illustrious leader of the Roe Jan Library. The online digital resources that they have are fabulous. They're free, but there are some nuances on borrowing them that I've worked at the library, not Roe Jan, but the Desmond Fish Library almost 5 years ago now. And the rules have changed since I've worked there. So I'm really glad that Tammy's here to kind of clear things up or clarify things when questions come up. So is there anything big overview you'd like to say, Tammy, or just say hi to your...
Yeah, sure. Well, the use of our electronic materials has really risen dramatically over the last 2 years, not surprising, with COVID. And then now that people have learned how to use them, they're continuing to use them. A few things you should just know. We have the two main products I think we'll be going over today are Overdrive, which Libby is the app that you use to read Libby or listen to Libby Overdrive materials, and then Hoopla, which also has its own app. And they're very different in their sort of business models and what it means for the library. Hoopla is a cost per circulation. So every time somebody checks an item out, it's a database of a lot of books that I don't purchase individually. We just subscribe to the service. And every time somebody checks something out, then we get charged. So like it's $2 every time somebody checks it out. So we really appreciate it if you don't check it out, if you're not going to read it. The other Overdrive has different models, and those we purchase individual titles. And much like the print, the holds work the same way, that if we purchase a title, our patrons have priority on the hold list for that title. There's a lending period of about 3 weeks. You can make that less, but 3 is the maximum. And we don't own the titles, we just license them. So we either have them for a year, 2 years, maybe for a number of checkouts. 26 checkouts is pretty typical. So again, we purchase the license, then if we need it 2 years later, we have to buy it again. So it gets kind of expensive. And also, again, because there's a limited number of checkouts, again, if you're not going to use it, if you're on the holds queue and it comes up and you're not ready for it, you can postpone that. And I think Pam might be able to show you how to do that. And that will really help your fellow patrons and the library if you do that. So just to understand a little bit about how these online resources work.
Okay, thank you so much, Tammy. So we're going to dive right into it. And we're going to start with Libby. So where I'm going to take you first is going to be the Roe Jan Library's website. So let me click share my screen, make sure I share with sound, because you might think of movies and stuff. Screen. Yeah. Okay. So can you see the website?
We can see it.
Okay, is it big or is it too small?
It's too small.
Let me fix that. I had a gut feeling that might be the case.
It was kind of a strip in the middle of the screen that was small.
Is this better?
Much better.
Okay, very good. Okay, so we are at the Roe Jan Library website. And the resources here, they have the online resources, all that you can get. But they did a very nice job when designing their website, that they put these key items of the digital resources right here, right in front for you. So we're going to go first to Libby. Now, Libby, I am visiting right now with a computer, a PC. So you can go here to go there. But it's also available on your mobile phones, your iPads, and different devices. So look carefully here for which device you want to connect with. So your mobile phones here, Kindle. And if you have your mobile phone and you want to follow along on your phone, you're more than welcome to. Just go to the Roe Jan Library on your phone and then pick there. So I'm going to go here to Libby, and I'll be demonstrating the PC version. But if we have any questions about how to use the mobile version, I have an iPad, and I will share the iPad because it looks a little different. Okay, so this here is the Mid-Hudson Library System's digital downloads. You can see this is the main landing page for Libby. And it shows you things that you can borrow, so magazines, ebooks, audiobooks, New York Times bestsellers, ebooks, again, books in Spanish, delightful. Okay, so I am going to, first thing I'm going to do when I land here is I'm going to go over to sign in. And when I sign in, it's going to ask me for my library card number. And I happen to be such a library nerd that I actually have my library card memorized. Okay. The PIN is something that you've set up at the library, or you've set up using the catalog. So if you don't know your PIN, you can contact the library and they can reset it for you. But it's usually a 4-digit number. So I use the same one as my my ATM because it's an easy one to remember. And then once I sign in, might as well save this. You'll see now I have my, I'm signed in. I have my account. It no longer says my account, and it shows me the books that I can pick out to read. This first ribbon is usually tied in with the theme. So like this is Women History Month. So that's why we have all of these books. And then here we have Browse the Newsstand. And it's see that most of these changed. And a lot of it has to do with my reading habits and what I enjoy reading. It does kind of alter and change. So the more things you check out, it gives you more suggestions on the main list. But if nothing here is what I want to read, you can filter and go through here. So you can search by subject. So you can browse the different subjects. And it tells you a little number next to it, how many are available in that subject. So you can pick those. This is listing all the formats. So it has the ebooks and the audiobooks and the magazines and the videos. If I wanted just ebooks, I could click that and would filter it down again. So I'm going to pick fiction. I'm going to browse in there. And now I'm looking at all the fiction that's available. And you'll see there's over 9,000 books here. So that's a big lift. You can filter even further down here by all titles, coming soon, the audience. If I click audience, you can see if it's young adult, mature adult. The style of ebook, which matters if you have a Kindle. You have to use the Kindle books if you're reading with a Kindle. And then it can go down even further from the fiction to romance, mystery, suspense, and kind of drill it down. So if I wanted suspenseful fiction, now I've pared it down to 1900 results. All right, I'm just going to pause there a second. Does anybody have any questions so far on how to get around the website and how to search through the genres? You can put your questions in the chat or you can unmute. Looks like Lois has her hand up.
So I was trying to follow you on my phone. I use Libby all the time, actually.
Okay.
There are a few questions that I have about it, but I use it all the time.
Yeah.
So looking at using a mobile device, you're not seeing at all the same thing that you see when you go to the website of the library, right?
That's true. I'm going to share my iPad here a second so you can see. It does look different. And I'm happy to hear you're enjoying Libby too. Okay, so you should be seeing my iPad right now. Is that correct?
Yes, your apps.
Okay, so here's what Libby looks like on an iPad. And like Lois pointed out, it looks completely different. And this is how it'll look on your mobile device too. If you wanted to search on your device here, I'm just hovering over here. My mouse really doesn't work. I can hit the search button. And now I have the filters a little bit different. So I have Kindle, books, audio, more. If I go over here to more, you can search. We have with these drop downs here, you can go into subjects and supports. So it has the same filters on your phone, but it's a little clearer and easier to see on a PC. So I'm gonna stop sharing a second. So what I do sometimes, just because phones are small and trying to, I mean, they're great for audiobooks, but usually I don't read on them. I usually search for my books and the stuff I want to look at on my computer where it's nice and big and it's, the graphics are easier to look at. And when you put a book or you borrow it on the computer, it automatically goes to your phone too, because all the accounts are linked together.
Right.
So I sometimes, when I'm home, I will find the books or the audiobooks I want to look at on my PC, add them to my bookshelf, which I'm going to show you how to do next. And then it's just waiting for me on my phone. And it makes it a lot easier for me to get around and navigate using the computer.
So,
yep.
So when you were on your phone, maybe you're going to do this. On the bottom was the search thing, which is very clear.
Right.
And I actually have to say to you that I don't know what they mean by that house that's there. To me, that's not a logical.
Oh, I'll tell. You're right. It doesn't. The icon does not make sense, but I'll tell you what it means. It's something that I enjoy, and I'm going to show you with the PC. So here, when you're under my account, we're in the Mid-Hudson Library System, and that little house is supposed to look like a library. If I go into settings for my account, you can actually belong to multiple libraries. So I kind of sneak around and I can belong to content, there's a Kindle preferences. I belong to both the Westchester Library System because I work in Westchester, and I'm allowed to check out books there too. So that allows you to swap back and forth between your libraries. So
okay, so I have the same thing. I use Westchester and the Roe Jan Library. So on my mobile device, when I hit the house, I'm going to get this screen.
Well, when you hit the house, it's going to ask you to put in your library card for Westchester, and that's how you toggle back and forth between the collections.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Where's the house?
The house is on the mobile device, which I'll stop sharing and bring up for a second here. And then I really do want to go on to how to borrow books. So let me just show this quick. And then let's see. So here, if I share my screen, iPad, share. Here. Okay. So this is going back to my mobile device, and you can tell that it's my mobile device because it's kind of clean looking. Here, at the very bottom, below where Together We Rise, see this house?
Yes, thank you.
There you go. That's where you'd click on your mobile device to switch back and forth between which library you're in on. Because like Tammy was saying, each library system buys licenses to the books. So you don't always have the same books. So sometimes when I can't find something, I will switch libraries. And like Tammy said too, it costs a little bit of money. So sometimes I'll search Westchester first because the Shrub Oak Library has a lot more money than Roe Jan does. And if I can borrow it from from Shrub Oak, I'll do it there. And then if I can only find it at Roe Jan, I'll borrow it from Roe Jan. So.
Pam, there's a few questions on the chat, and Tammy has a comment about what you just said, so you can go there.
I select available now, and often it's not available. Libby and Overdrive are both, and Noelle also asks, do I use Libby to select books and Overdrive to read them? They're both the same company. They really want to continue to use Libby, and they're trying to make Overdrive go away. But so many people like Overdrive, they're having a hard time getting rid of it. Libby is the newer version of Overdrive. So if you can use Libby, it's better to do for both reading and for selecting. If you listen to an audiobook on your phone, is data being used? That's an excellent question. When you have your book, download it on Wi-Fi first. And then when you take it with you, you're not using your mobile data. You're using something that's downloaded. And then when you return it, the file goes away. And then Tammy said, Overdrive is the company, as she's kind of reiterating what I said. Libby is the app used to read, listen to the Overdrive content. There used to be a separate Overdrive app you could use, but it's been discontinued. Right, you can't get it in the store anymore, that's true. But I still have it on my device. So unless you uninstall it, you still kind of have it, but eventually it's just going to stop working. So it's best to do like Tammy says and use the Libby. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our PC version, and I'm going to go back one, and we're going to select available now, because that was a question that was going in there. So these are the books that I could check out right now. Now, Tammy was saying, it's not an unlimited resource. Say if this Power Play book by Tiffany Snow, there's 5 licenses for it. It's just like if there were 5 physical copies in the new release of the library, the 14-day books. So you have to wait for a license to come free, and it's the same thing. So if you select available now and the book you want's not there, it means that you can't get it right now. You can't check it out. It's better to go to all titles, find that book, and I'm pretty sure the Harlan Coben is going to be unavailable. It says it's a pre-release expected March 24th. If I click place a hold, then I can put that book on hold, and I will get an email letting me know when it's ready to be checked out, or I can add it to my device. So if you don't see it under available now, take off available now, and it's probably you need to place a hold on it. Now I'm going to go ahead and place a hold on this because I like this author. So it says success. My hold position is number 31 on 1 copy. So I'm number 31. So it'll be a little while before I get this email saying it's ready. Now put it there. They also give you the option to read a quick sample. So if you're not sure about Harlan Coben, or you've never read anything by Harlan, you can click that and it'll give you the first chapter so you can check it out a little bit, see if you like it. I'm going to go back one because I also want to show you the audiobooks. So we can see this is an ebook. It's got a little book underneath it. There's a book underneath it. I'm going to now switch from here, ebooks. Let me see, I want to go to take off the all ebooks. And now I want to find audiobooks. So I'm going to go to the main page. You see the difference here? Audiobook is that little picture of a headphone. If I click this, this one is ready for me to check out because the word says borrow instead of place a hold. So right now I could have this book immediately to listen to. With audiobooks, just like the ebooks, you have a chance to listen to it and sample it. So you can hear a little bit of.
Penguin Random House Audio presents The Princess Diarist by Carrie Fisher, read by the author.
There we go. So this was, I guess she read this, she did this before she died. So that's important to me because there's been many times where I've really enjoyed a book, but I could not stand the reader. A good example of that, and we'll stop sharing, is I really love the books by Philippa Gregory. But unfortunately, I'm American, so I always read the books with an American accent. And when I listened to the books and it was the proper, you know, royal British accent, I couldn't get into the book because I was too used to hearing it in my own head. So you can sample the books and listen to them before you actually download them or take the time to download them onto your device. So I'm going to borrow this one because it's available. And when that comes up, it says borrow for 21 days. So I can select how long I want this book to be available. This varies from publisher to publisher. It's not something that the library controls. Some of the books will only let you have them for 7 days. You don't have a choice. So if you come to a book and it's like, I don't know if I can do it in 7 days. I'm going to pick 21 days. And when you borrow it, in 21 days, that book automatically returns itself. So there's no late fees. So I've selected it now. And then here I can click and listen to it in the browser right now and hear this book. But next, I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to switch to my mobile device. Okay, and then let me just get share screen, the mobile device. Sorry for a little bit of tap dance here, but there we go. Joining in here. Okay, so we've gone back to my mobile device. And here, if I go down, this is where we had the house that had we switched between the things here. If I click on the books, the stack of books here, this is where I get my audiobooks that I've checked out. And right now, looks like because of the lag, my book I just checked out hasn't shown up just yet. Close. Next. It should be showing up right here. I'm pretty sure that the lag in using Zoom has slowed it down, but it will appear as a book here for me to check out. You can open the audiobook from your device. And then you can listen to it from there. Maybe again. So stop sharing a moment. Okay. And go back to the main screen. Okay. If you're using a computer, the stack of books looks a little different. It's over here, not at the bottom of the screen. And if I click on that, you'll see that this is where my books are. And this countdown here will let you know how much time you have left with that book. It also here tells you how many books you're allowed to check out. So you don't get an unlimited amount of books, you can get 9 at a time. If I go over here on the left, I can find the books I have on hold. So here's the Harlan Coben that I'm waiting for. And then I'm going to go back up here to the main page. If I click on this, this brings you back to where we started. Okay. So that was subjects. Here they have collections. And if you go into collections, it also drops things down for you in a little way. You can see besides ebooks and audiobooks, you also have videos and magazines available. The magazines are quite wonderful. They are, I'm going to go into Home and Garden here a second. It is the latest magazine. So if you have a magazine subscription, you will get the latest magazine as it is on the newsstand. And the format is quite lovely. It's exactly like what you see in the stores with the advertising, the way it's laid out. I'm going to select borrow. With magazines, it's 21 days, 14 days, borrow. I'm going to read now in the browser, and you'll see that the magazines look identical to what you see in the grocery store. So I can take this and page through. This works beautifully on an iPad or on a tablet. So you can save some money on your subscriptions by using this, which is one of my one of the most wonderful things I think libraries provide for. Not only do I not have to recycle my magazines anymore, it's very nice not to have to try to have the subscription to pay for. So it saves me some money because the magazine subscriptions have gotten very expensive. Okay, I'm going to go back here to collections. Videos, and we're going to go to the videos area now. I'm going to go to most popular. So these are the videos that are available. And again, you can borrow these and then watch them on your Libby app or watch them on your computer. If I go to Forks Over Knives, again, that lets you watch a sample. And then I would just select borrow to get it. All right, I'm not going to borrow this one right now because I won't do it now. And then it will show up right here in your books area. So the stack of books, whether it's the mobile device or it's your PC, you're going to look for the stack of books to find the stuff that you've checked out. I'm going to stop sharing. So I see there's some comments in here. Let's see. There we go. So Noel says, I manage loans and returns, but it seemed to really work. At the end, it says book expired. If you listen to the audiobook in your browser, how do you download it to your phone? They're in the same spot. So if you listen to your audiobook on the PC for a while, when you go to your phone and you open up that book, it's going to be in the same exact spot. So they kind of sync back and forth. So you don't have to worry about that. So it does keep up with you. Okay. And I manage loans and return books early. But it doesn't seem to work. And sometimes, yeah, I've found glitches like that too, Noel, and I don't know how to repair that one. Sometimes I think it's a network glitch. Okay. And Lynn Myers asked to remind how to get to the site on the computer. Absolutely, I'll do that right now. So once again, I'm going to go to the Roe Jan Library's website. Here's their website. And if I go here, here is Libby on their website. They have a nice big button there. All right, so that would bring you where you can get the apps for your device. And in this column, there's a link here that says for computer, Kindle, Kobo. This is for computer. I'm going to click here for the computer, and that's what's going to bring you to the PC version, which I find easier to navigate and find books. Okay. And now we got that. Okay. I'm going to go through here. So there are different ways once you have the book to bookmark and make the font bigger if you need that. I'm going to move on to how to use Hoopla, which is the other service that the library offers. If you have any specific questions about how to increase the font, different ways to bookmark and highlight while you're inside of a book, we can cover that at the end. or you can send me an email, which I will provide to you at the end. But next, we're going to cover Hoopla. And Hoopla has a little bit different items for you to check out.
Excuse me, Pam, before you go to Hoopla, there's two quick questions. Carol wants to know if you can access back issues of a magazine.
Yes.
And Lois had a question. She wasn't sure, is the mobile device different than a computer when you want to get Libby? Is there a different Libby for the mobile device than the computer? I don't think so, but
No,
yeah.
it's the same. It's the same. They just look a lot different. They have, because one has to be formatted for a smaller screen, but it's all the same.
Okay, there you go.
So,
On to Hoopla.
to Landscape magazine here, and see right next to when you're here in Landscape, it has select another issue on the side. And if I select that, you do have past issues you can go back to. And if I said load more, it just keeps going and going and going. So you can go to a specific issue if you wanted one. So if you have, you better reference somewhere online and you want the specific date or time, you can do that. So. And you can print too from your computer. So if it's one of those magazines that have really good recipes, you want to print the recipe, yes, you can print it. Okay, good question. And what was the second question? Okay, and then we covered the other one. Okay, very good. So let's go back to the wonderfully designed Roe Jan Library website. Library.org. Okay. So Hoopla is a little bit below Libby, and this one's here. And this is yet another service where you can borrow books. You do have to sign up for an account. And then after you sign up, you put in your library card. So I'm going to hit the sign up now, even though I have one. And I'm going to put my school email. And then you'd make a password. So you do have to do this. And then you go in and then you hit agree. I'm going to log in with my real stuff. Where's that? So I don't want to create another account because I only have one library card. Okay. So here you'll see that I'm in the Roe Jan Library. So once you've created an account, you're going to go up here to the gear. And under the gear, select library. And that's where you can pick the Roe F. Jensen Library. You're going to put your library card number in, just like we did before. And then that PIN, just like in Libby, you need that 4-digit PIN. So that's how Hoopla and Libby know that you are a library patron and they don't charge you. So let's go back to Hoopla. Hoopla, I'm allowed to borrow 6 more titles. And I have 1 title now, so I think I'm coming close to my limit. You can borrow movies. Hoopla also has music, which Libby does not have. And this also has ebooks, audiobooks, and comic books. So if you have any younger family members, or if you yourself enjoy comic books, you can get graphic novels on this one. So you can see it's a lot similar in feel to Libby and how it looks and feels. All right. Their browse is up here. And if I click it, you can browse through the audiobooks, you can browse through the different sections. You can also use their search, which sometimes I think is a little easier to use than Libby. Let's see, Ken Burns. let's see. Empire of the Air, the men who made radio. Okay. All right, so this is a PBS movie that I would like to see. If I click on it, just like in Libby, I have the button for borrow. I would select that. And I am going to borrow this one because I really am going to watch it. This is something I want to watch. I'm going to borrow this title. And it says here that I can enjoy this title until March 10th. So until then, I can have free access to it. To find this item, I can go up to Hoopla here, go to currently borrowed, and here's my movie. And I can just click here to play. So it's a lot like having Netflix. Now, Tammy can correct me if I'm wrong, but since Hoopla is a little bit more expensive for the library, it sometimes pays to check, first with Libby to see if whatever you want to borrow is already in Libby before you switch to Hoopla. So, but Hoopla has a wonderful interface and experience here. So if I go here back to the main Hoopla page, I can click an advanced search here, and this even lets you go a little deeper into the genre and the publisher and the series. So you can search by series, search by people. So if there was a certain actor, let's see, Tom Cruise. I don't know if that happened by Tom Cruise. You can search. Oh, they do. So you can search for a specific actor to see if there's something there. So these are a few things that involve Tom Cruise. So that I like. You can sort the items by release date and by format. So here I can see that 3 of these are movies, and they list 1, 2, 3. 1 is music. So this is an album. And audiobooks. This one's an audiobook. Okay. So I'm going to switch. I'm going to stop sharing, look at the items in the chat, and then I'm also going to bring up the Hoopla on my mobile device. You can see that look like. And Tammy very helpfully has put the Hoopla digital website in the chat, so you can check that out. She also put general help on using Libby in the chat, which is also very helpful. And she says, in general, it costs the library less for someone to borrow a book in Hoopla, definitely for the audiobooks. We do have some overlap, though. Hoopla is unlikely to have the most recent popular books. So it's a matter of going back and forth between them. All right, thank you, Tammy. Okay, so let me go to my phone or my iPad here. And I'm going to bring up Hoopla on here so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so here with Hoopla, here's my Hoopla app. It's in the middle in blue. And this is the loading page. And this is what Hoopla looks like on your mobile device. And they really did a nice job of trying to keep the 2 of them the same looking, as opposed to Libby, where it's like wildly different between the PC and this. So here you can see, here's your borrowed items. So there's the Ken Burns that I just borrowed that I can watch in a bit. And favorites, of anything that I have the favorites. And at the bottom here, it also has the search function. So I can search by artists and everything here at the top, almost like Google. Doing a Google search. And here under more, besides books and movies, you can see the other items that are available. So the Curiosity Stream is there, great courses, which are wonderful. And Hoopla also offers magazines as well. Okay. If I switch this toggle to music, you can see the music that's available that you'd like to look at. And you can search by genre, you can search by these. To listen to the music, you will listen using your Hoopla app. So you'd have to listen to the music on the Hoopla app. You can find the music. Let's see if Hamilton. There you go. So there's Hamilton. If I hit borrow, it says I can have it for 7 days. And it's going to be downloaded to my mobile device, and then it's not going to work after 7 days. So I'm not going to use any of my data on my phone by doing this. I'm going to borrow the title. And now that turns to play.
How does it best?
There we go. So I have Alexander Hamilton. All right. If I wanted to switch to a different album, I can swipe my finger. Excuse me. I could swipe my finger to go back and forth to get the different albums. And then in order to go back to the original Hoopla, I would go here. So if I had this is my mobile device and I wanted to go back to the movies or I wanted to go back to the music, I'm going to click on borrowed. And here are the items that I've borrowed. So I have the Hamilton Broadway recording, and I have the Ken Burns, which I have to start watching after class tonight because I only have 2 days with that one. So that's where you can find those 2 items. Okay, and I'm going to stop sharing here a second because I see there's a question in the chat. Okay. Let's see. And Tammy's also adds, you can find everything, including what platform titles are available on in the general catalog. That's an excellent point. And let me show where that is, because that's an easier method than trying to bounce back and forth between 2 apps. So let's go to share. So we're going to return to the Roe Jan website. And so far we've searched for items on Libby and we've searched for items on Hoopla. But if you go right here to search catalog, the Mid-Hudson Library System has done a wonderful job of making sure everything you're looking for is in one spot. And that includes the items, the full catalog on Hoopla and the full catalog on Libby. So if we wanted to search for, I'm going to search for, let's see, was it Ken Burns, right? Burns radio. I was going to search. So here's Empire of the Air. And I can see here it's available as an e-video, which means it's going to be on Hoopla or the next one. So it's on this one. Oh, it's Canopy has it. So this one's available on Canopy if I wanted to see it. So if it wasn't available there, I can get it on Canopy. Here's another one, Pride of Our Nation video. And if we click on this, you'll see it's also Canopy. And I'll show you Canopy in a moment. And if I go here, eMusic, you can see Ken Burns stuff that's available on, so it'll search for both areas. And this one, when I click on it, this one I believe is Hoopla. Yep, and this one's Hoopla Music. So this one would be on Hoopla. So if you're looking for something, you can find out which platform it's on. Okay. So let's go one more place. Let's see what we're doing with time. Yeah, we got time for this one. Is we're going to go here to Canopy. Canopy is just movies. Okay, and it says here, here's your Rolf Jansen library. It says free access. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our library card. So again, it's going to be the same thing, same library card, same PIN that you've established with the library. I'm going to hit continue. Oh, Let me log in. I've already registered this one, so. You would get right in, but since I've already registered my library card, it's. There we go. So now here, this is Canopy. So these are the different movies that you can select. It always gives you a main page, almost like Netflix does, or the other two products we just looked at. But you do have the option of browsing. And you can break it down by documentaries, arts, education, sciences, social sciences, staff picks. I'm gonna go into documentaries and art and artists. So this allows you to go through here. So let's go into the life of Buster Keaton. And we have here, and then all I would do from here is hit play. To start watching. This one's very straightforward. Now Canopy, I'm gonna stop sharing a moment. If you have a smart TV and you can add apps, you can add the Canopy app in your library card and you'll be able to watch those movies on your TV. So that is possible. But the other option is if you're using an iPad and you have a smart TV too. I'm gonna switch this here a second. Oh. We got my friend. There we go. Okay. If you're using an iPad, now I'm going to describe what I'm doing because you can't see my finger. If I take my finger and put it where the battery is up there at the top at 89 and then swipe my finger down towards the center on a diagonal, this little menu pops up. And in the menu is this button right here, which is called screen mirroring. If I touch that, what comes up is my living room TV because I have a smart TV. If I click that, it puts whatever's on my iPad, it gets transferred over onto the TV and I can watch it. So that's a way that you can transfer your items over. I'm just gonna stop sharing there. So you can do either of those methods to try and put it on your TV. It's usually a little bit of a tap dance and it varies from TV to TV. Sometimes Samsung is a little easier than, you know, Vizio or whatever TV if you have a smart TV. So that can get very deep. If you have any questions on how to move things to your TV to watch it there, just pop me an email. Tell me what kind of TV you have and I'll help walk you through how to sync them together. And I'm going to make sure I put my email in the chat for you right now, in case you don't know it already. It's glorypam@gmail.com. Okay. We got a little bit of time here for questions. The thing I want you to know is I am going to help you. I'm throwing a lot at you on how to get around and use these devices. It can feel a little bit overwhelming, mainly because there's so many different ways to get these items. There's so many rules that aren't set by Roe Jan that they have to adhere to with licensing and all of that. Don't be afraid to ask questions. You know, ask Tammy questions, ask the staff questions. You have my email. Ask me questions too. If something just didn't click tonight, or if something just didn't seem, I want to use this, but it's just not working for me still, don't be shy about it, because it is a little bit of a convoluted mess at times just because they're trying to control the licensing of these products. It's not you. All right, so if you ever feel confused by this or intimidated, just talk to any of us. We'll be happy to walk you through. And after you do it a few times, it makes more sense. This class I used to teach in person, and we would spend the first 15 minutes of the class just passing around devices, just trying to get logged in. Okay, so I kind of get a little bit of a break teaching this on Zoom. So if you have any questions with that, bring your device into the library, don't feel like, oh, everyone else can get this except for me. It's not true. It takes a little while for this one. Okay. Now let's see. I have a few questions in the chat. Lois says, I'd like to know how to bring up a list of chapters in Libby on the mobile device. Okay, we can cover that. What are the best websites to search for the most popular or top 10 books? Oh, that's a good question. Val? Is that Val my mother in Florida? Or is this a different Val? So my mother's name is Valerie. And
No, I'm
sometimes-
not your mother.
You're not my mother? Oh,
No.
okay. Sometimes she shows up and I also have, my mom's name is Valerie and she goes by Val. But I'm always happy to see another Val. The name makes me smile. Let's see. So what are the best websites and most popular or top books? Well, boy, I used to always like the New York Times bestseller list. I used to trust that one a lot, but it really depends on your own choices. I remember, and I hope it's still there. And I will put up my device for you in a moment, Lois. Let me go back here to share. The catalog used to have a really cool way to sort. Let me just go to the Roe Jan Library a second. I hope it's still there. Roe Jan Library. But it used to be, you go to the catalog and you could see all the different top 10 lists, and it was like synced with the catalog already. It was like truly awesome. Let me see, online courses. Hopefully it still exists. Do you know what I'm talking about, Tammy? It used to be there was like a link where it had like the New York Times bestsellers and it went right to the.
No, I think, yeah, there used to be, well, they used to get novel lists, but they don't get that anymore.
They don't get that anymore. Oh, the novel list was awesome.
Yeah.
That and Chilton's. The Chilton's online was awesome too, but I guess all of this stuff is expensive. So, but I would like the New York Times bestseller list personally. If there's a certain genre that you love, search for those lists as well. I sometimes go by Amazon as well to see what people are reading because a lot of people buy from Amazon. But the New York Times Review of Books is probably my favorite. And that is found at Times Review of Books. And what's nice about it is it goes by bestsellers, and it actually kind of sorts by genres too, and they have nice podcasts. So this is a great place to discover books that you might be interested in. And I'll put this link in the chat for you as well. Here is that link for the New York Times book reviews. All right, and let me get the how to search by chapters. Was that on, let me see, I think that was Libby, or I think that was Libby for. The NPR also has a great list of books. Book Riot. Tammy's all over this. Goodreads.
Goodreads is great. Terry and Joe said Goodreads, and I get an email from Goodreads every month. Actually, you can get all of the new releases that it's just sign up for their email list that they send you every month. All the new good books now.
Yeah, Goodreads has a lot of independent authors too, and
Yes.
self-authors, which is fabulous.
Yep.
We get stop sharing and get the iPad up there so we can share. Let's load it up. Okay. Let's go here. Doesn't look like my book arrived yet. Let's search for available now. Let me grab a book that we can work with. See, I Survived Gettysburg. Borrow. I want to find this by format. Audiobooks. Go back for a second. Good. Clear my searches. I want books. Fine. Let's see, available now. The other one? Which one? Let's see. 20. Let's see if there's any Mark Twain available. That's an audiobook, an audiobook. Oh, they only have Mark Twain audiobooks. I didn't think of an audio filter. Those are my filter. An audiobook? That's an audiobook.
Sure you don't have a filter on that's limiting it to audio?
Yeah, no, I just trying to find something and everything here. Like I said, this is why I prefer to search on the PC than trying to search here. Let's see, books. Books and everything were fine. Available now. We don't want all the books. We want books. There we go. Okay, so let's go to, we'll say we'll take Extreme North. Oh, that one needs a hold. Not available now. Find this. We want available now. I want something right now. I'll grab that one. Or verify my card. Next. Next. Oh. Okay. So I'm going to open this book on the app. Okay, so now I'm in the book here, and I can run my finger across it in order to turn pages. And if I wanted to see the different chapters, here at the bottom, where it has under table of contents, title page, if I tap in the center, that's what brings this up. And then I can touch that, and then I have the different chapters available to me and the scroll. And then to bring this down, I'm going to swipe my finger on that caret where it says contents to drop it down again. And by tapping in the middle of the page, once again, I go back to the book. So tap once in the middle, and that brings up your font choices, your ability to bookmark, and your table of contents. Does that answer your question, Lois? I think you're on mute.
So I have an audiobook on my Libby right now. And so you're telling me to
Yep, you tap in the center of the screen just once.
tap in the center where they
playing the leadership role in Asia that Nehru and others hoped for.
no,
after
that didn't
independence
do it.
And weakens its global clout. Kashmir.
Are you using an iPhone or an Android?
iPhone.
Okay.
Actually, I go to bed with my iPhone set for 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. So you listen to 10 minutes.
So
And
I
what-
listen all the time to this, but sometimes I want to get to a specific chapter, or I want to know what specific chapter that particular talk is from. And I can't seem to, on a regular basis, get it.
Okay, we will do that. Now, before I answer your question, though, we are at the end of the time here. So I'm going to stick around and answer any questions that we have, including Lois's. But if you've got where you've come for, or you have other things you need to do, it's okay to drop off the call at this point. You don't have to stay for the whole thing, but if you want to stay, I'll stay as long as you want to and talk about audiobooks and movies and anything you might want to hear or learn about. But thank you for coming. All right. And once again, I think our next one, we're either going to do Instagram or Facebook, one of the big platforms. So I'll see you in a few weeks. All right, so thank you so much for coming, and then stick around if you have questions, and I'm just gonna get an audiobook on my iPad for you, Lois, so I can demonstrate.
Okay.
Thank you, Pam.
And I'm
Got
gonna
it.
stop the recording.
Okay.
Thank you.